So the BRICS summit has finally taken place in the city of Kazan in Russia. And you might be aware if you are reading the current affairs and all. So BRICS basically get straight to the point. So BRICS initially it was started as an organization of four countries: Brazil, Russia, India, and China. So just a few bits of information. So the term BRICS BRIC was coined by Goldman Sachs in 2006. It said that this BRIC, the Brazil, the combination of the countries of Brazil, Russia, India, and China, this grouping is the next big thing to come as a representative of the world economy. Then in 2009, the first BRIC summit was conducted in Yekaterinburg in Russia. In 2010, a meeting was held where South Africa was included in the grouping, and in 2011, South Africa first participated in the BRICS summit held in China. So this is the brief history. Now some facts, if I want to know, just if you want to know, just in brief. So now BRICS has expanded, including in 2014, the start of 2024. So the BRICS has included four more countries. So this is Brazil, the initial countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and UAE. Okay, so these have been included, and I've put pictures of the main leaders of the main countries: Brazil, Mr. Lula da Silva; Vladimir Putin of Russia; Narendra Modi of India; Xi Jinping, China; and Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, current leaders. And these four countries have been added. So now, with the addition of these four countries, so now all these nine countries, they represent a staggering around 50% of the total population of the world. And around quarter of the world's economy. Moreover, besides that, the area of discussion does not only pertain or is restricted to the trade and development. No, there is focus on economic development, of course, regional connectivity, people to people connect, even the contemporary issues like climate change, and most importantly, a counter to the West dominated institutions. So, West dominated institutions, we have mainly the IMF and the World Bank, which are also known as the Bretton Woods institution. So, despite these countries, these Western powers dwindling fortune, now it's a multipolar order. It's not the 1990s or the late 20th century when the Soviet Union and the USA were the prime powers, and then Soviet Union it disintegrated. So now IMF, World Bank, what the problem is, a few Western powers, they contain the vetoes, they contain the power to take decisions with very little reciprocation or very little participation, encouragement of participation of from other countries. So this new, you can see, so it is like the global south that is the mostly the developing countries, is faced against the global north, the developed countries, the western powers. So it is sort of a counter to or other groupings such as G7 also, where the developed countries are taking place, the developed countries are there. So this is the thing. And so it is BRICS. With this meeting, it is touted, the discussions have started taking place whether the BRICS is now the new world order. So apart from that, you might have heard other things that the BRICS pay system is in the pipeline to basically conduct financial transactions in the local currencies. The de-dollarization, the de-dollarization is the main principle, that is to remove the dependence of trade or development from the dollar and the local currencies. We'll discuss other aspects also. And moreover, Argentina was invited, but Argentina's leader is pro West, so it declined the invitation. Saudi Arabia has accepted the invitation but not yet formally joined. Its foreign minister took place in the recently concluded BRICS summit. Now, you know that a lot of literature, what the BRICS does, New Development Bank, we'll discuss subsequently. I'm not going to ignore it. But the interesting fact, the importance of the city of Kazan, where it was conducted. Why this particular city was chosen? Why not any other prolific or important, much important city like, you know, St. Petersburg or Moscow? So here, let's see the location. Very interesting because I used to think for quite some time that India, okay, these Western powers aside, we don't tend to study even India in great detail. But we now know why, even I have come to know a lot many things through my lectures, that what kind of diversity exists in Russia also. You would not believe that it has around 193 different types of ethnic groups of people. So it's very interesting. So I'll just show you what I am talking about. So we'll straight away maneuver to Russia. So, because Russia is quite huge, so this country is Finland. So, it extends from Finland all the way to the Pacific Ocean. And you can see here, this is Alaska, USA start. So, you can see because the Earth is round, this is Greenland, okay, North Pole and all. So, the concentration will be on the European part of Russia, because Russia is neither considered an Asian country, not an nor only a Eurasian country, or not only a European country. It is considered, in fact, a Eurasian country. It spans both the European continent as well as the Asian part. Okay, fine. So you can see this is Moscow, the capital. This is Kazan. So Kazan is the capital of Tatarstan. I'll write it over here. Brief discussion I should. So we have talked about Kazan. So this is the city with 1.2 million population. It is a quite developed city, one of the wealthiest places in Russia, with huge developments in the petrochemical sector, the energy sector, tech sector, military industries also. So why it was, okay, this is one reason. Now, you know what is ethnicity? Okay. Ethnicity is not equal to race. Ethnicity is defined when we say particular people belong to a particular ethnicity, they share common characteristics such as culture, tradition, and the most common proponent or element from which we define an ethnic group is by language. Remember, in the classical languages of India, when we discussed, for those you have seen, the ethnicity is defined by the group of languages. For example, we discussed about the Indo-European group of languages. Then we discussed the Dravidian group of languages. We discussed, so this Indo-European group, almost 74% of the Indian population speak Dravidian languages are spoken by approximately 25%. Then we have Sino-Tibetan languages. Then we have Austric languages. We have Negrito languages. Similar is the case with Russia. I'll come to that. Now, again, I'm going to repeat if still this point is not clear. First, you have to tell me that is Iran an Arab state, Arab country? The answer is no. Okay. So, Arab world, Arab nations like Saudi Arabia, the majority population there, the religion is Islam. But Arab identity is different from Islamic identity. Arab does not. Arab heritage, even in Israel, the Arabs staying here, the Arab is a common identity, common ancestral identity. There is Arabic language is different from Urdu. It is different from Persian. The state of Iran, after the 1979 revolution, it came to be defined on the basis of Islam, theology, religion. It declared Islam as a state religion. But other when we talk about Saudi Arabia, Arab states, or we talk about UAE, we talk about Egypt. Okay, so these are defined by the common Arab ethnicity, not by religion. So they have common characteristics, they have traditions, they have way of dressing, and most prominently, they share a common Arabic language. Okay, so majority population, if they are Islamic states, does not mean their religion that they all of them are Islamic population. They belong to the larger umbrella term of the Arabic population. It is now to generalize what the social media says that the Hindu Muslim divide, the Sikh, the religion divide. So that is not. And just keep in mind that it is the ethnicity and most prominently the factor language that connects a substantial that creates a substantial bond between two sides. West Punjab, when we talked about the Khalistan in the last lecture, so we talked about the West Punjab and East Punjab. We consider they're divided by religion. No, they are united by a common language, Punjabi, a same type of ethnicity. So similarly, we'll discuss in case of Russia also. So in Russia also, so ethnicity primarily we equate it to one of the characteristics such as language. So now if we consider Russia, so in Russia, I said that it is home to 193 ethnic, different ethnic groups. Okay. And we take language as one of the major criteria. So 80% of the population of Russia are Russian ethnics. So what does that mean? First, you might have heard of this term, Slavs. Okay. So Slavs is the main umbrella term for ethnicity. Slavs or the Slavic language, it corresponds to the umbrella term. It belongs to a family of Indo-European languages. For most more on Indo-European, you can visit my classical languages lecture. So Slavic, they are a group of Indo-European languages which can be Russian Slavic, it can be Ukrainian Slavic, it can be Czech Slavic, it can be Polish Slavic. So all these they belong to a common ancestral ethnicity. Nationalities might be different, but differences in the languages, they belong to a common languages, so they form a common. So 80%, and now they are Russian, they are Slavic ethnics. The 80% population, they are belong to the ethnicity of Slavs, but they speak Russian Slavic Russian is the language, so they are Russian ethnics. I hope the point is clear. And then 10%, 10% are the other. If we talk about the other ethnicities, so we have Tartars. Now, who are Tartars? They are the minority groups in Russia with who speak the Turkic language. Turkic languages. Again, Turkic is a family of languages. So these Tartars, they speak the Turkic languages, and primarily the religion of these Tartars is Islam. But it does not mean that all the Tartars follow Islam or are Muslims. Okay, majority are Muslims, but the common proponent or factor that connects them together are the languages, not the religion. Just remember this. Similarly, other groups, if we talk about, they are the Chechens. Okay, we have Avars. I'll show you the images also, the traditional dressing. It's not like in India now. Not only do we not know about our traditions, we just okay, common. We have just blindly aped the West. We wear jeans and t-shirt. Okay, it's fine. But the traditions, the culture, we should know about. Then we have Kazakh. So nationality aside, these they come under a group of languages which define them. Okay, even Ukrainian, like I said, Ukrainian is also an ethnicity within the country of Russia. Okay, so religion might be different. There is no common religion which defines the ethnicity. There is a common language predominantly. We have Armenians also. We have Chushavs. We have Bashkirs. Okay, so this is the point. Now, the important point why I was talking time and time focusing on Kazan. Kazan is the capital of the federal subject of Tartarstan. I am using predominantly the term federal subject because, like in India, we have a quasi federal structure, that is, the states have their power is divided between center and state, but it is tilted in some subjects in favor of the center. USA is a federal government. UK is a unitary government. Here, when we talk about Russia, it has what is known as asymmetric federalism. Now, again, this is a unique type of federalism. So, in this, there are not just any states or provinces. We have a combination, they have federal subjects. Similar, you can say, to India's states or US states, but these federal subjects are again classified into national republics. So it is not that these states, these elements are separate country, but they are national. They are called national republics, and Tartarstan is one type of national republic. I'll explain the reason and the concept of national republic. Then we have a concept of oblasts. You might have heard this term, oblasts. Then there are also Trace. Then we also have autonomous oblasts. Primarily among all these federal elements, Russia, the de jure, which the international community recognizes, there are 21 national republics in Russia and 46 oblasts. Fine. And total, if we consider the federal subjects, like total states, there is a number in India, union territory. Similarly, total number of federal subjects by de jure, that is recognized by international law, internationally recognized, they are 83. But if we include some annexed or occupied territories by Russia, such as Crimea, so Crimea has also been declared a national republic. So we that increases to 89. So some places like Donetsk, Luhansk from Ukraine, they have been also annexed, but they are not recognized as Russian territories by the international community. So overall, there are 83 de jure, but de facto there are 89 federal subjects. Now, what is the difference between these national republics and oblasts, basically, and why territories like Tartarstan are defined or categorized in the category of national republics? So now we have 193 subjects, 193 different types of ethnic minorities. Now, over plenty of years, over centuries of migration, the minorities they migrated. Primarily, we know that they are Orthodox. They follow the Orthodox Church. 80% the Russian Slavic ethnic people. Now, other. So in Tartarstan, the ethnic minority, like I have discussed, are the Tartars, which are again they which are defined by the Turkic language. Majority of them they follow the Islam religion. They are Muslims, but they are an ethnic minority. So if you remember the Russian Revolution or the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, in which the czars or the czarist regime, the monarchical regime, was overthrown in favor of a communist, a socialist form of government. You know the prominent figure Lenin. So, in order to gain the support of the ethnic minorities which had found a place in Russia, in that nation, so in order to accumulate those, and in order to cater to their interests, so their areas are developed similar to reservation policies in many countries like India. So he started this. So national republic. He started the concept of national republics, in which they had the freedom. They enjoyed more autonomy as compared to other federal subjects such as oblasts. So they could frame their own constitution. They have their own anthem, national anthems. They can also decide their own official language. Obviously, minorities, majority of the people in Tartarstan, they are the Turkic languages, so they don't know the Slavic, Russian ethnic Slavic language. So this is how. So this is a unique feature. Now coming back to, so here Kazan, this boundary is the boundary of the federal subject known as the National Republic of Tartarstan. Similar, we have other national republics also, we have oblasts also. So national republics normally, as a rule of thumb, they consist of ethnic minorities. They are the predominant population is of ethnic minorities, Like we have the Chechen Republic, the Dagestan. So if we move the map, so this is the Dagestan region. Here it is the Chechen National Republic. Okay, so a lot of secessionist movements which happened over here, Chechnya. You might have heard of it in 1990s, but rest aside, and some geographical aspects because I'm always interested in geography. So again, so here we have Kazan. So Kazan, if you observe, not only is it wealthy, but it is placed situated at the confluence of two major rivers. It is hard to see this river. The longest river of the continent of Europe, it is flowing like this. The longest river of the continent of Europe, the Volga, very important national waterway of Russia, and it drains into this Caspian Sea. Okay. So you can see this again, I am repeating this Volga from the northwestern part of Moscow. It rises, and it flows all the way and drains into the Caspian Sea, just we have Ganga draining into the Bay of Bengal. Okay. And there is one other important river here flowing, Kazan, this river, which is known as the Kazanska River. Okay, so it is at the confluence of these two rivers. Fine, so this was about the geography. It is located 900 kilometers to the east of Moscow. Okay, now, so moreover, if we talk about Kazan a little more in detail, so in recent years, Putin has brought upon, he's ruled these national republics with a heavy hand due to their tendencies of rising up in revolt, their discontent. Those ethnic minorities, if they're, all over the place, if their interests are not fulfilled, if they are felt sidelined, so they rise up in rebellion. So Putin or the Russian authorities, Russian government has dealt with such rebellions with an iron hand. So it is a type of reconciliation by conducting that. You know, Kazan is not different from Russia. We are not talking about Russian ethnicity. We are talking about a Russia, multi-ethnic Russia. And in Tartarstan, the population in Tartarstan, I'm not talking about Russia, in Tartarstan itself, there are around 48% of ethnic Russians. Ethnic Russian, again, ethnic Russian not defined by religion, but by the ethnic Russian Slav language. Majority of them, they follow the Orthodox Church. And around 47% are the Tartars, with the predominant religion, Islam. So it is kind of a melting pot of different cultures. Melting pot of different cultures, a confluence of different cultures. So that is what Putin wants to focus on. So it is not just about Russia anymore. And moreover, right now, like I said in the beginning, 80% of the population in Russia is of ethnic Russians, but right now 10% belongs to the Muslim ethnic minorities, but that is bound to rise manifold. So that demographic transition, that demographic change is visible, and Putin has to ensure that in order to stabilize the country, it has to bring cordially all the different ethnic communities together. Okay, and obviously a lot of resources are there. It is rich. So this is one of the reason, and some interesting facts about this place. So here you have cities in Russia, they have a Kremlin. So Kremlin is type of a citadel or a fortress city, a government building. So in Kazan, in the Kremlin, which is situated in Kazan, two important structures. This is the Kul Sharif Mosque, and this is the Annunciation Cathedral. So they are located in close proximity to each other, again signifying the importance of Kazan being chosen as the region and location for this year's BRICS summit. Now, Kul Sharif also, there is a history. There was one prince, Ivan the Terrible, Ivan Vasilevich. So, Ivan the Terrible. So, during the 16th century, he ravaged this mosque, Kul Sharif, and it was later built by Russia with the help of Saudi Arabia and UAE in 2005. So, this is the what I'm talking about, the cultural melting pot. Fine. And some ethnicities, like I was discussing, I'll quickly skim over. So this is the ethnic groups of Russia. So this red part, mainly the European side, we have the Slavic people, we who speak the Slavic group of languages. In then you can see this region. You can see here. This is the Tartarstan. So we have almost equal majority, the significant proportion of this blue ethnic people, the Turkic people, the Tartars, and Russian Slavic people. Okay, then we have other such ethnic minorities also. So these are the 8 federal districts in which Russia is divided. And if we combine that, further break it down into the federal subjects, then we have national republics, we have oblasts, we have autonomous oblasts, and so on. So this, just as a demonstration, these are the national republics which are based on the proportion of the ethnic minorities. If they are the predominant area, they are in significant proportion, so those have been given relatively more autonomy in various affairs. So you can see this Tatarstan, okay, Washia, okay, here this is Chechnya, okay, then this is Dagestan, as I have discussed, Sakha Republic, okay, Altai, Tuva, Bur. So these are the, this interesting, might sound so different. So these are the ethnic Russians. These are the ethnic minorities, Tartars. So you can see by their clothing, by tradition. So these are the Chechens. So Tartars in Russia, they are the second largest ethnic group after the ethnic Russians. Okay. These are the Bashkirs. Okay. These are the Chushavs. These are the Avars. This is the Armenian ethnic group, even Ukrainian ethnic group. Why Russia? One of the reasons why Russia feels that Ukraine could be part of Russia, not just because strategically, not just okay, Putin wants, okay, just annex for the sake of it. A lot of people, they share the same ethnicities, the border ranges. So that is also one excuse which Putin has made. Okay, so now the major point of the Kazan declaration which took place. Okay, so the equitable governance. Again, Putin is trying to hand out an olive branch to the Kazan, capital of Tartarstan. Fine. Then cooperation between various governments and establishment of peace through dialogue. Okay, so just some important takeaways. So all the nine countries they have come to this. Okay, now the important points. The important points, the pros or the opportunities which we have from the benefits of being part of the BRICS grouping. So first of all, it is a challenge to the domination or the a counter balance to West dominated nations, West dominated groupings like G7, like the Bretton Woods institution, IMF, and World Bank. Okay. Then there is a new development bank also, which is also known as the BRICS Bank. It was initiated in 2015. So it has funded more than $30 billion of projects. Fine. Then opportunities. Now, since Putin has become a war criminal, he has a warrant has been issued against him by the International Criminal Court. It has become difficult for him to travel to different countries. He missed the G20 summit, which was held in other parts of the world. He missed other summits also. Mm. And moreover, he has also been barred from the SWIFT network. You know, SWIFT, the Society of Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, which facilitates a secure network channel or gateway for international transactions. Okay, so that is one reason why Putin is also inclined towards an alternative payment system, the BRICS Pay or which name they want to coin, to establish intra-BRIC trade. Moreover, this is considered as a win for Putin and BRICS overall because despite the wars, the Russian-Ukrainian invasion of Ukraine, the countries all the countries participated in the BRICS summit and they regularly do so. They don't miss out on these summits. So that is also a strength, a unity, solidarity among the countries that they are serious about posing a front as a challenge to the West. They are sick and tired of this West domination. And many countries of the global South, the so called developing, underdeveloped countries, they want to join this BRICS grouping. Fine. Moreover, with the advent of countries like UAE, like Iran, with the advent of these countries, it has also been shown that the importance of oil, the importance of these countries with Islam as the major religion, Islamic states. So it is assuming more multipolarity, it is assuming a larger clout, and it is gaining a larger political voice in the global matter. Okay. And it is giving a common forum for the countries to sort out their disputes. Now, you can see that the countries, which are nine countries, they hardly share any territories with each other. They hardly share any political commonalities in political systems. Some of them, these countries include democracies, authoritative government, as well as monarchies. So there is nothing common, but still they have regularly participated, they have engaged in dialogue, and this year's BRICS summit sideline meetings on the sideline with between PM Modi and Xi Jinping were held. So probable de-escalation, de-engagement, and demilitarization of around regions around LAC will take place. The Depsang, Galwan, Demchok. So all this is there. Then the Pezeshkian, the Iranian president, President Pezeshkian also participated. So there also the meeting took place. So there also, although there is war going on Israel between Israel and Iran, but there are some challenges as well. So expansion we have talked about the 9 countries in future. More countries might be involved. De-dollarization we have talked about. Okay, and we have to talk about apart from this the challenges also. Okay, so first of all, although everything is being done by consensus. Okay, the voices of all the countries in BRICS are being heard, but they have different interests, and some countries are also at odds or at loggerheads, differences with each other, different opinions. So, like India and China, we consider. Okay, so that can hamper. So we have seen in that this is evidence in the past that if we make an organization too large, multipolar, like in the past the G77 and NAM, the non-aligned movement. So they are just there as their namesakes. They don't have much function. Okay. Then if we talk about the alternative payment systems, it is a good measure to affect the de-dollarization or reduce the dependence on the dollar. But there is again imbalance in trade. 92% of the trade between Russia and China already happens in local currencies. And even if we establish an alternative payment systems, then Russia's exports to India outweigh its imports from India. So again, there will be a massive trade imbalance. So even if we are dealing in an alternative local currency, common currency, it will not favor India. And moreover, different opinions, alternative payment systems, so these are some of the challenges. And also a lot of like declarations have been made, but there is no particular commitment. There is definitely intent by the regular participation, by posing, by coming up with new ideas, but there's no legal binding. And I don't know how this de-escalation between India and China will continue. So India also has to manage its affairs with due caution. So the ultimate option is that India has gained some positives, like Russia has gained. It has said that even the US West have applied so many sanctions on us, say, still there are countries who are willing, who respect me as a global power. Okay. And similarly, India has gained out of, after 5 years, this meeting has been held. So this de-engagement might happen and more peaceful LAC can be observed in the near future. So this was all about this year's BRICS summit. So the most interesting part was the location of the summit. I hope you gained a lot of perspective from it. So till we meet again next time, Jai Hind.